The day Beni Pishi lost her voice. Strange things happen, and strange things happen all the time, especially when you least expect them. It happened to Beni Pishi. One fine morning we got up to hear that Beni Pishi had lost her voice. Beni Pishi not talking? That was like a rose not emitting fragrance. It was impossible and strange. There was hardly anyone in our village or in nearby villages who had not heard of her reputation. Beni Pishi was a compulsive talker. There was not a moment she could manage to keep her mouth shut. It was simply out of the question. Pishi stayed with her brother Ghanshyam Mondal, who incidentally happened to be our mathematics teacher in the village primary school. A man of few words, he was a total contrast to his sister Beni. People who knew him closely claimed that they had never heard him speak a word not pertaining to mathematics. On the other hand, Beni Pishi just talked and talked. Whenever she would find no listener, she would mumble to herself, often converse, imagining herself to be in a group of people and representing each one's view for a minute or two in a round table manner. My friend Tahil claimed he had even heard Pishi talking to a cow while milking her. So when one fine morning Beni Pishi stopped talking, we all felt she must be terribly ill or something. "Pishi, are you feeling well?" we asked in a worried manner. "Do you have fever or a headache? Are you having a sore throat? Have you suddenly decided to take up a vow to remain silent, though this was possibility rather remote? Oh, Pishi, don't keep us in suspense anymore. Tell us what happened." Beni Pishi would not open her mouth. It seemed she had really lost her voice finally. Ramu, the village barber, went on a step further. "I know what has happened," he said wisely. "What?" we all shouted in unison. Though none of us had much faith upon Ramu's understanding, today was different. Today we were ready to listen to the silliest man on earth to enlighten us on theories relating to Beni Pishi's silence. "Well, something like this had happened once to Dinu Mondal in my native village," Ramu whispered to us. "I think I know what has happened to Pishi. I think the neem tree has something to do with this." He sighed deeply again. This time we were really stumped. "The neem tree? Do you really mean it?" "Can't you see? Don't you understand? It is the ghost on the neem tree. He has cast a spell on Pishi. That is why she has lost her voice. I know for sure. Dinu Mondal had also once lost his voice like this. It is all the conspiracy of the ghost on the neem tree." "Why would the ghost try to cast a spell on Beni Pishi?" "Why would the ghost try to cast a spell on Beni Pishi?" asked Aslam Chacha, scratching his bald head in a somewhat baffled manner. "Do you teach at the village school with this kind of intelligence?" Ramu said triumphantly. "Who went last Friday with open hair under the neem tree to collect berries, eh? I told her so many times, 'Pishi, please don't pass under that haunted tree with your hair open. Ghosts do not like to see humans defying them. They would surely cast an evil spell on you one of these days.' Do you know how she reacted to my advice? She simply laughed. Now she must have understood what it is to show your guts to the dead ones." We did not know whether to trust Ramu, the ghost on the neem tree casting a magic spell on Pishi to make her silent, did not seem too convincing an explanation, especially to me. As unknown to my elders, I had often climbed that very neem tree with open tresses and all to escape from the ire of my father. But then no one present there could breathe but another word that might explain that strange incident. Is there a remedy? We asked.
Of course there is, Ramu, the wisdom personified, replied. Send for someone who can drive away the ghost.
So such a person was sent for. Arrangements for showing off the ghost were made. A big pyre was lit at the center of the courtyard. The man, dressed in red and chanting strange words at his loudest, man might have continued for more time. Right at that moment, a most wonderful thing happened. Beni Pishi snatched away the broom from his hand and with it thrashed him to pieces. He left howling and leaping the way we had expected the ghost of the neem tree to. However, the problem still stood at square one. Beni Pishi was still speechless. She glared so fiercely at all of us that we dared not suggest another cure for her strange illness. Just then, someone remembered that Ghanshyam Kaka, Beni Pishi's brother, was nowhere to be seen. While we were still discussing this, Ghanshyam Kaka's voice sounded from behind.
What is happening? Why has the entire village come down to my courtyard? Beni, would you explain?
Beni Pishi cannot explain anything to you, Kaka, one of us said. You see, poor woman, she has lost her voice. Then someone went on to narrate the theory regarding the ghost of the neem tree and the cursed moment Pishi had decided to walk under the tree with untied hair. I was not really listening to anything. My mind was elsewhere. I could see Ghanshyam Kaka carefully taking out a small brown paper packet from the pocket of his kurta.
Here, Beni, put this on. It is a brand new pair and costs twice over. Now don't go bathing in the river wearing this one.
He unwrapped the package. Just rimmed with pink plastic gum and looking grand with almost real-looking teeth. What use could Beni Pishi have of this? Before we could voice our question to Ghanshyam Kaka, we saw Beni Pishi hurriedly slipping the dentures into her toothless gum. Finally, the ghost of the neem tree dispossessed her.
What, Dada?
She immediately took off in her characteristic loud, shrill voice.
You have no sense really. Must you have handed me the pair of dentures in the presence of all these people? Haven't I always told everybody that I had teeth like the Himalayan rock, strong and everlasting?
Yes, we had often heard Beni Pishi boast about her teeth. So that was it. She really did not have her own pair of teeth. She must have had lost the dentures while taking a bath in the river the previous day. How could she open her mouth to talk at the risk of being found out to be toothless? For once we saw our mighty Beni Pishi blushing. We thought of the poor man. He had had the worst beating of his life at Pishi's hands and must still be running in fear that Pishi, under the influence of the possession, might follow him till the end of the planet to teach him what it takes to try to dispossess a person of a ghost of the neem tree.